Jennifer was quoted in several news outlets last month, including the Vancouver Sun. Jennifer is a true leader in our community, helping to raise awareness about multiple sclerosis, which indirectly or indirectly impacts all of us here tonight in one way or another. Please join me in welcoming Jennifer.
So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story, my life with MS. I was born in Vancouver in 1960, and I was a cute little girl. I was very shy. I didn't speak very much in public, but in private I talked a lot. So I became a speech-language pathologist. I decided that was a good career for me because I did like talking, and I did like helping people. I was also very interested in working in healthcare, and the longest job that I had in my profession was working at GF Strong Rehab Center with people who had brain injuries and strokes. So I knew a little bit about the brain. I fell in love. We bought a house. We traveled. I didn't buy that house. Couldn't afford that. So we traveled. I won a couple of awards. I was involved with the Women's Campaign School, where we taught women how to work politics and how to get themselves elected. And then things came to a big crash. I developed facial pain. Now this is not my presentation, darn, okay, it's okay. I had changed this. Okay. Anyway, I had a couple of extra pictures in there. Okay, well, we'll work with this one. Anyway, I had severe facial pain, and it comes on suddenly. It was cutting, it was burning, it felt like I had a poker going up through my head at times. It was mostly around eating and brushing my teeth. I knew that this was trigeminal neuralgia, and so I went to see a neurologist. The neurologist told me that I had because he did the head-to-toe exam and couldn't find anything else. He decided, or diagnosed me with idiopathic trigeminal neuralgia, which meant the pain of the trigeminal nerve in the face, and idiopathic suggesting that he didn't know what was causing it. So he put in an order for a non-urgent MRI. While I was waiting for the MRI, my husband and I had planned a trip to France, and I was having trouble at this point with my gastrointestinal system. I was having all sorts of problems. You can see I'm quite slim there. I'm about 20 pounds lighter than I am now. And I was struggling to eat, and I was having all sorts of GI problems. A couple of days after this picture, we were in the southwest area of France. A couple of days after, I woke my husband up in the middle of the night, and I said to him, honey, we have to go home. There's something wrong with my body. So we drove back to Paris, flew home, and I tried to figure out what was going on. I had trouble, I would taste my dinner if I slept on my back, so I slept upright for several months while we tried to investigate. I went to public health, I paid for private health, all sorts of tests, all sorts of gastrointestinal tests. I talked to my gastroenterologist and my neurologist asking about the possibility of MS, and both of them said no, and they started looking. The GI guy was looking for cancer, and the neurologist just didn't seem to have any ideas about what to do. I ended up going into emergency because I said, I'm not doing very well, and I need to figure out how to prevent an emergency admission, because I'm headed on my way to being like that, with a tube feed. I was in pain every time I ate, and I was having GI problems. I went to the hospital with my husband, and we refused to leave until they admitted me. And this was around Christmas 2 years ago. When I was there, they didn't have me see a neurologist. They had me see several psychiatrists. They decided that I had a conversion disorder, which is a modern term for hysteria. And I was also told I had functional dyspepsia, And once they got me back on my feet and a little bit, gained a little bit of weight, they sent me home and encouraged me to engage in cognitive behavioral therapy. And they set up appointments with an eating disorders doctor. Now at that point, I asked my husband, can you take a picture of me here? Because I knew there was something wrong with me, and I was determined to find out. When that non-urgent MRI finally came around, a few months after my hospital admission, and after my GI things had settled down, this is what I saw. I ordered a copy of my MRI, and these lesions are periventricular lesions, and these are classic MRI, classic MS lesions on an MRI. I waited for my neurologist to contact me, didn't hear anything, went into the office and said, are you going to do a recommended follow-up? We did a follow-up, same thing. The radiology report said, like the last one, it looks like evidence of multiple sclerosis. So I thought that this is great, I'd at least get diagnosed. But I had to go to my GP to ask for a referral to the MS clinic because the neurologist said to me that I didn't have MS because I had no problems with motor strength and reflexes. At this point I knew I had MS. As I waited for my appointment at the MS clinic, I had increasing pain. I asked my husband again to take a picture. He doesn't like doing this, but I asked him to take a picture of me. I was waiting for the ambulance to come and get me. I was screaming in pain. I had woken up in the middle of the night it felt like I was being electrocuted on the side of my head, all the way up to the top of my head. I ended up getting admitted to UBC Hospital. That was a great place to be. The doctor who admitted me was very interested in pain, and he had the good sense to call in a neurologist instead of a psychiatrist. So I was actually being believed. I have a smile on my face because I was being believed, and they had me on some pretty good drugs. And they put me on a drug that also ended up taking me out of pain. The neurologist, the MS neurologist, he wanted me to go over to VGH to get surgery to help me get out of pain. It's called a rhizotomy, where they damage the nerve so that it stops sending pain signals to your brain. When your brain stops misinterpreting the signals it's getting. And so I was pretty happy that that was going to happen. But unfortunately, the neurosurgeon, when he saw me, I was out of pain, and he decided not to do the surgery because they don't want to do a damaging surgery if drugs can manage it. About a week later, I had an allergic reaction to the drug. The neurosurgeon was out of town. I went back to my GP. I had a good GP at this point, and she helped me get a referral to Winnipeg. So I flew to Winnipeg for emergency surgery. They had the graciousness to realize that I had suffered a lot here in Vancouver and I needed help. And this is the neurosurgeon, Dr. Anthony Kaufman, who helped me a great deal. That's before my surgery. We're just about to go in. And this is me after surgery. A smile on my face, eating hospital food. You can't believe it. It was the first time in months I could eat without pain. It was lovely, really lovely. And I have, you can see my scar. That's where they go in. And they go in up under the cheekbone to injure the nerve. So there I am, I'm out of pain. Now what do? This was early January of this year. I had to figure out how to live with my MS. And one of the things that my husband and I do is we eat very well. He's a great cook, so we make sure that we eat the best foods. So like Dr. Devonshire said, eat well, manage your MS. I also got involved with my lovely group, the Kitsilano Self-Help Group. And there I am with two of my MS mentors, crossing the finish line at the MS Walk. Our team raised over $16,000 for the MS Society, and we were very proud of that. I try to get out and walk and enjoy the beautiful city that we live in. And I also needed to figure out how I was going to manage my MS. Was I going to go on a drug? Well, you can be sure with the pain that I had, I wanted to be on a drug. I wanted to figure out what might work best for me. So I worked with my neurologist, and we decided to try one of the new oral drugs. And I've been on it for 5 months and very happy with it. I've been on Tecfidera. Also was able to participate in our block party this year. We have a very tight community, and previous year I hadn't even been able to go out and meet and talk with people, but this year it was a lot of fun. Was able to hook up with one of my old high school friends, went down to Boundary Bay where they have a cabin, and we swam a couple of times in the ocean. I love doing that. And my husband and I managed to get in a trip. We visited my sister who lives in New York, and we had a lovely time. Didn't think I'd be able to travel again. My neighbor's son put this up for Halloween, and when I saw that, I thought, I have to take a picture of that. It turns out, if people had listened to me, if they had listened to me and really believed that my symptoms were real, I probably would have been diagnosed a lot earlier. And I've blogged a great deal about my whole experience in actually excruciating detail, if any of you are interested, on my website. And thank you so much for giving me the time and listening. Listening is so important. And I'm so grateful that so many of my friends are here tonight too. So thank you all.